All right, good morning. My name is Pat McLaughlin. I'm the chief for the Vermont State Hazardous Materials Response Team and the Tier 2 Program Manager. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today for the EPCRA Tier 2 reporting requirements for Vermont facilities here in 2026 for the 2025 reporting year. Today, we'll hear from Samantha Slayton, who is our new Hazardous Materials Compliance Officer under the Division of Fire Safety. And we also have Allison Marino doing some admin for us in the background if you have any questions. If you do have questions, there's a question and answer section where you can ask questions. Feel free to type into the text message section there, create a post, and we'll follow that and answer questions at the end, or if they are present inside the reference questions that we're on right now. So we'll try to keep an eye on that. Looks like we have about 17 of the 35 registered. So we're going to give it a couple more minutes here, and then we will start the presentation here in probably about two or 3 minutes. We'll let some more people come on in here, and we'll get started. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the Q&A section. Give it another 2 minutes here, right around 05. We'll get started. Thanks for joining us here. Thanks again. All right, we'll get ourselves started here. Again, thanks again to everyone that was able to join us this morning for the Tier 2 Community Right to Know program and requirements here for the Vermont facility submitting in 2025. I will turn it over to Sam, and she'll go over the Vermont requirements, and then I'll go over formally what Len used to go over on the Tier 2 program and how the actual data is entered. So without further ado, Sam, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sam Slayton. I am the Hazardous Materials Compliance Officer for the State of Vermont Hazmat Team. Full disclosure, this will be my first full year doing Tier 2 reporting, so please bear with me. So as the chief mentioned, we are here to go over Tier 2 reporting. Specifically, I'm going to go over Vermont's requirements today. So who may need to report annually? Almost everyone in the state of Vermont is required to at least report. So that includes gas stations, truck dealerships, trucking companies, warehouses, manufacturing businesses, hospitals, ski areas, motels, hotels, apartment complexes, schools, colleges, federal, state, and local government, nonprofits, even agricultural facilities, and as well as drilling and blasting companies. So we'll kind of get down into what is required to be reported. Vermont does have minimum threshold reporting limits, which are lower than the federal government. We currently require 10,000 pounds for petroleum products. So if you have diesel fuel, gasoline, kerosene, propane, aviation fuel, even that is required to be reported under the Vermont thresholds. Typically 10,000 pounds looks about like 1,500 gallons, depending on the weight of the product. All other chemicals have a 100-pound threshold. And on the next slide, we'll go over what some of those chemicals may be. If any of your companies have a Class B or Class A license for explosives that's issued by public safety, you're required to report, as well as 100 pounds or more if you have explosives, blasting caps, safety fuses, anything like that. There's also one section that states any cancer-causing chemical that exceeds the minimum threshold established by VOSHA. So if you have any questions on what those other chemicals are, any cancer-causing chemicals, please reach out to me at the end. I'll have my contact info and I can dig into that further for you. So as I said on the previous slide, 10,000 pounds is typically the threshold for petroleum-based products. There are other chemicals that are required to be reported. So if you have to maintain a safety data sheet and you exceed the minimum threshold, you have to report that. So examples are stockpiles of sand at 100 pounds, road salt, 10,000 pounds, the petroleum-based products we already talked about, cleaning products, floor waxes, any compressed gases over 100 pounds, even windshield wiper fluid over 100 pounds if you're storing it. Battery and lead acid batteries, refrigerants, and again, any explosives that require a Class A or Class B license by the Department of Public Safety. So in Vermont, we have our own Tier 2 reporting system that we require companies to fill out. So all Tier 2 reports shall be submitted to both the SERC and the LEPC in a T2S file format. With that said, we have email addresses at the end of this. I'll share with you, so make sure you're sending that T2S file to the LEPC as well, not just to our database. Your local jurisdiction also requires you to submit a file to them. So that would be your local fire department, for example. The program we use is Tier2 Submit. It can be downloaded on the EPA website. This year it was introduced December 16th. So if you're having any issues downloading the Tier2 Submit, please let me know and I can help you with that. Also within the system, it requires that you document the transportation routes in which your chemicals come from. For example, if you have anhydrous ammonia coming over the road and it's coming in from Canada, you have to physically write that in your Tier 2 report so we know where in the state of Vermont, which entry point it's coming in and what roads it'll be on. So again, I mentioned the submittal portal. There's a link here. I have a link I can send out to anybody that didn't receive it in a previous email. We're going to go over it in just a minute, but I also have the dps.statewide lepc@vermont.gov. Again, you need to send that T2S file to that as well, not just the portal submission. Your local fire department typically will want the report in a PDF file. You're able to use the Tier 2 Submit to export that in a PDF file for them. If you have any new chemicals, please provide the SDS with the report. You only need to do that for new chemicals that you're reporting. So the portal, when you first click on the link, there's a sign in if you already have an account. There's also a register button in the middle. You can fill out the registration, or if you have an account, you forgot your password, just click on Forgot Password. Under the Tier 2 section, there'll be a new Tier 2 Submit. It's highlighted. Click on that. And you will put in the report year 2025. Again, this is report year 2025. Fill out a couple questions, who your company is, and then you're going to input that T2S file from the Tier 2 Submit program that you downloaded from the EPA website. After that, you click Submit. And on the right-hand side, there'll be an edit button, and you can change the report status. So currently it would be an awaiting review. Myself and the chief would get this on our portal, and we would go in and be able to review your submission, get back to you if there's any changes we need, and then be able to send an invoice from there. The fee structures have not changed, so they're still the same fee structures as 2016. The fees are based on the amount of a chemical that's reported, and this is going to be the maximum daily amount. So whatever your largest tank is, whatever the max capacity you can have, that's what we want reported. So the quantity is in pounds, and you can see the associated fee. The fee chart is also listed on our website. Take note that any extremely hazardous substances, EHS chemicals, incurs a $250 additional charge for any reported quantity. The fees can be, checks can be made out to Department of Public Safety, HSF, which is the Hazmat Special Fund. Please send the checks to the following address: 45 State Drive in Waterbury, Vermont. We also accept ACH payments, which are available through the portal, which I showed a couple slides ago, where you would submit your T2S file. You're able to ACH payment through there. Sometimes in the past, we've had issues with companies trying to do that. So please reach out, and I will work with you the best I can to get that up and running for you. Some places are exempt. So federal and state governments, municipalities, most farms are exempt from paying fees, but they still must file a Tier 2 report, so the local agencies in the state know what they have in the event there's an emergency. The reports and fees are due by March 1st of each year from the previous calendar year's inventory. So again, this would be for your 2025. My contact information is on the right-hand side. Feel free to call or email the dps.tier2submit@vermont.gov. I will get back to you. If you have any questions, please let me know. And on the left-hand side is the contact for the new EPA Region 1 contact, as Len Wallace has retired. Note those contact information. If you have any questions, please let me know. Back to you, Pat. You're muted, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Sam. We're going to move on to the Tier 2 Submit program itself, and we'll be able to go over what is required when submitting and where we can find this program, as some of the things in the Tier 2 program have changed in our requirements. For those that may have already submitted this year, you may notice that that is the case, that there's additional things required. As Sam had talked earlier about the difference between the federal requirements and the state requirements, on our safety.vermont.gov. And it goes over what the chemicals are under that 10,000 pound threshold, as there are differences between the federal requirements and here in Vermont's requirements under our statutes. So where do we find the Tier 2 Submit program? It is located right at the EPA's website under, and let's see if I can pull it up here for everybody. It's what I want to do. The EPA's website under Tier 2 Submit software. So you can either Google Tier 2 Submit, and each year, as Sam stated, it comes back out with a new submission. So under that, we're able to click on the 2025 Tier 2 for Windows and Macs, download that program, and you'll be able to execute it. We have had some issues in the past where there are some IT departments that have had issues with getting that downloaded, as it does come in sometimes a little weird. If there's any questions, again, you can reach out to myself or Sam for questions regarding getting that program downloaded. But that is how we accept the Tier 2 submissions, is through the Tier 2 Submit program. So the link for tutorials are also available on that website, as well as the prior year's questions from the training session. I'm not sure if those questions are still going to be there, as this training session that used to be sponsored by EPA was ended last year. So there may still be some answers and questions up there, but that's not a guarantee. As with Len departing, that might not still be there. But that would be where you'd find it, at the EPA Emergency Planning Community Right to Know Act New England workshops. There are additional programs that are available by EPA, Cameo, as well as their entire all of those are also available on the EPA website. Additional things for tracking different things, being able to categorize chemicals, and if you are in need of SDS sheets, again, that website for downloading the Tier 2 Submit is at EPCRA Tier 2 Submit software, and there's some additional reference wording. And the deadline for submitting your Tier 2 is March of this year. So you need to submit your Tier 2 to the state of Vermont, to the LEPC, and your local fire department, wherever that facility is, by March of 2026. So March 1st, 2026. And you're reporting the prior year's storage in 2025. If you have any issues with the Tier 2 Submit program itself, the EPA runs a company that assists you in any Tier 2 related questions for the program itself. So if you're having issues inside Tier 2 Submit, this is the contact information to be able to answer any technology issues, downloading issues, or file problem, error while trying to enter something in the Tier 2 Submit. This is that contact information here for that. We will get all this posted to our website for references. So if you are looking for that, that will be under the Tier 2 Submit, the Tier 2 website at the Division of Fire Safety, which is firesafety.vermont.gov. And then we'll go under emergency responding, hazmat, and Tier 2 Submit. And you'll be able to get all this information as well from there if you have any reference questions. All right. And then just some additional fact sheets for the program as a whole, specific to some of our ice rinks that may store ammonia. There's some additional safety regulations that are there. So we're going to move into the actual Tier 2 program. So we'll see that we have downloaded the program and we've opened it on our computer, and now we have this blank sheet of how we're going to be able to submit that. There are two ways you can start. One of the easiest ways is to grab your file from last year. So if you have your Tier 2 Submit file from last year, in a whatever your file format. You want to make sure it's in that .t2s file format. That's the one you're looking at. We get questions regularly where, oh, I click on this and I open it up and I can't open it. It gives me this file program issue that I can't open it. And that is completely normal. This file will not open if you click on it. It only opens inside of Tier 2 Submit. So if you see this file, you're not going to be able to click on it to open it, to review it. You have to do that inside of Tier 2 Submit. So how do you get that there? You go to the import button and you're going to browse your computer and you're going to find that file that we were just looking for. And you're going to click on it and you're going to be able to import it. And once you import it, you'll get a green file. And that means that all the files with inside that aren't corrupt. They have all the data you have and it's ready for an import. And this file is last year's file. So it has all the information you had submitted from last year. And you were able to just import that same file in from last year as long as nothing has changed. And you hit continue, one facility, got a couple of contacts, a couple of chemicals, it's showing you the date. So this is last year's, but I'm importing it into this year's Tier 2. It imported successfully, and now I have the file up here. I will have a exclamation point up in the upper left-hand corner, and that exclamation point is saying that there's something wrong with the file. And the reason it's wrong is because it's last year's file, and I need to validate that nothing has changed. So to validate that, I'm just going to double click on it, and I can go over to here to this exclamation point. I can click on it, and it's going to tell me there are several things in here that I need to correct. These three are the three new things that are required this year. So Vermont emergency response equipment available, indicate are you within a community water system area if it's required, and emergency equipment contact information. These two here, the equipment cache and the equipment contact, if you do not have an equipment contact or you do not have equipment on site, so if you don't have suits or respirators or things to mitigate spills, you can just put in this emergency equipment contact, your 24-hour contact, just to repeat. It will not clear out unless it has something in there. So you'll have to put in. So you'll just put in, if you don't have equipment, you just put in your equipment that you have, your equipment contact for your 24-hour contact. So it'll be the same contact between. If there's a different contact, if you're at a larger facility and you have someone that manages the equipment that you use for response, that's the individual you want there. So normally it's just this date sign. So you'll go down, you click on the date, that'll give you that date information. Come back up here, click on this, and you'll see that that has been corrected. So you go into Vermont, it's asking for equipment available. So we have a bunch of SCBAs, type 1 hazmat truck at that facility. So we're going to list that equipment. If you have additional equipment, you have it. Our facility within your community water. This would be here for our community water districts. So do. If that one is going to be County District. Management District. So you would end up in this section here, and that will clear up all of your, except for that one content. And this section is where you're going to add that additional content. I can go into my current contact here, and I'm going to scroll down to contact types, and I'll add another contact type here. That other contact type is going to be equipment adding an additional contact because it's the same. So I don't have to enter any of this information here. It's all the same information that is all in there. And I now have got a green check and I've validated all my submissions. So I can go back to my facility list and I should have a green check mark here. So now that submission is ready to go and I can submit it into the portal. So submitting that into the portal is clicking the export submit. And I want to make sure I create that T2S file. I create the file. That'll save it here. We'll save it as Matt Colchester 1, and we're going to export it. Now, that just saves it to my computer. It doesn't actually save it to the portal. I need to go to the portal to be able to get that. And if I don't know the link to the portal, I can click on your state instructions. That will bring me to the EPA's website. And I can scroll to Vermont. I click in Vermont here, and that will bring me to the information on as to how to submit, where to submit, and the payment structure. And it also will have Sam's contact information, email, and all other information here that we, looks like they put Virginia in there. That is our email, just because it says for Virginia. We'll reach out to EPA and get that squared away. But it has all the information as to where to submit and how to submit. So the LEPC is just attaching that T2S file to an email and sending it to this email here. And then we'll go into the portal and we will submit through this portal. I need to reset my password. So unfortunately, I am not able to do that right now. If you do have an issue and forget password is not working, please reach out to me and Sam and we can manually reset your password. I do have a couple of those in pending that I'm going to try to get to this week so that we can get people started. But we do sometimes have an issue with the forget password. So please just send an email to the dps.tier2 submit saying my password's not resetting. If you're a new individual, and there was someone else running the portal and you'd like the old submissions tied to your account, we can also move those around in the back end. So if you have any issues with the portal, please let us know and we'll work through that for you. All right, so that would be how you'd create your tier 2 T2S file. Sometimes there are going to be fire departments that are not going to be able to read the T2S file. So you want to send them a hard copy or a PDF copy. And so to be able to create a PDF copy, you want to make sure that you've clicked all of the sites you have. So if you have multiple sites, make sure that they're all clicked, because whatever is green and highlighted when you click submit is what it's capturing. So I'm going to create this one. I'm going to create another kind of export. I'm going to go down to PDF, and that's going to create a PDF. The PDF is not something that we're going to accept at the LEPC or the SERC, so through the portal. This is just something that if you want for your records to be able to see it, you can have that copy there. So you do the same thing, create the file. You're going to save it under the that tier 2, create that file, and then we can view that file and you'll be able to see tier 2 PDF. That is what tier 2 PDF like, has all the information that you may in contact information, all the chemicals and things. So if you'd like a hard copy or you want to see what you're actually reading in a readable format, this is a perfect way to do that. But that is not for submission. And the other kind of point I want to hit on is when you click export submit, you're not actually submitting it to the state. you're just creating a file on your hard drive to then move to the portal to submit that as well. All right, so if you don't have a file from last year, or creating a new site, something of that nature, you've got a little bit more work to do. And if you have, you're taking over a new site, or you have a belief that a site was submitted within the last 3 years, you can reach out to myself and Sam, and we might be able to get you an older version. We can only go back 3 years because the system will not accept anything before 3 years. So it can only go back 3 years because 2025 won't accept anything before 3 years old. Yeah, you'd have to recreate it, unfortunately. So you go to facility, you're going to add a new facility. The facility name is whatever the name of that facility is. We're going to put it right here at State Police Headquarters and Department of Public Safety Headquarters at 45 here in Waterbury. And the state's going to be here in Vermont, zip code. And then you can use this map here to find where it is and fine tune it. You can also set by the lat long based on the address. Move that around a little bit and get it where you need it. That's really helpful for us to be able to see. You can change satellite view so you can see we are right in this building right here. And that will give us real good. Wants to know the county, the department, the district, and emergency phone number. These ones are not required. They're looking for different. If you know the rate, if there's a water fire district. See, all the required fields are going to be. Duns and Brown, I don't actually know ours is off the top of my head, so we'll have a validation here. But these are all places you can actually click on, and you can enter your Dun and Bradstreet number by going to these websites. If you don't have that information, all these little eyes will give you links to different locations, and you can choose your Dun and Browns and your NASC National Industry Classification System to enter those into the IDs. Is it a manned facility? So is it a storage facility? Is it unmanned? And then how many occupants? Chemical prevention. Are you under any of these? Subject to any of these? And to figure that out again, if you want to, you can look up answers to those questions. Select yes. You've got to be able to provide D numbers. There are sometimes when you click things. Requirements, and if you have questions, again, IDs here will give you a spot as to where things are. So, adding contacts. If you have contacts already in, like I do here, I can add myself already. If you don't have a contact in there, you're going to have to create a new contact. And those new contacts will have requirements for phone numbers and locations. And it depends on the contact type. So an emergency contact is going to have additional requirements for phone contacts other than an owner operator who may have additional phone contacts or at least one contact, but they want to have additional addresses and things. So each contact type will have different requirements for each type that you're going to use. So we're going to just add myself in here as it's already in. And that will create one. Now you'll notice I still have that error because I don't have someone for an owner and I don't have a chemical carrier. So I'll need to correct that before I submit it. And by going to chemical carrier and owner, I can add those two. And now I've completed that and I no longer have an invalidation on my contacts. Chemicals, I'm going to add my chemicals. And this is where Sam was talking about those maximum quantities. So we're just going to put there right now just a chemical cast number. You can look up the cast number. It'll ask if it's a mixture or if it's pure. We'll go with this. This is important section here. If it's an ESS, again, the I will give you the list to be able to figure out if it does fall under an EHS requirement, and you can look up that list to be able to see if that substance is or is not. We're going to go with no. It's physical state. We'll go with liquid at this point. It's on site 365 days, and that range. So max amount falls within a certain range. So we'll call 24,000 daily. Sure that these codes are filled in at minimum, and then the daily maximum amount, daily average amount in the largest container. This largest container is helpful as a responder to know which one would have the largest amount of chemicals in it and where it is. The toxicity and physical hazards, we're going to want to have our information. You do have to select one of these to be able to validate. Again, additional information is found in the SDS sheet under the hazard section, so you can look at the SDS sheet and validate your hazard for your chemical. Storage location, you can add your storage location, location of the facility. Again, we'll drive, type of storage, what kind of storage it is, any kind of pails, or cans, or cylinders, jugs, rail cars, a myriad of different tank pressures. Is it ambient pressure? Is it greater than ambient pressure? We want to know what temperature it is, different temperature storage ranges. If it's a mixture, we can put in the mixture. And then this section here are the Vermont required fields. So modes of shipment. So how do we get it to your facility? It's shipped by a truck. Frequency, is that something that is shipped on a regular day, week, month, year? So we'll say we get this once a month. And that's where we want to make sure we get our information. Physical transport, liquid. What's the maximum quantity shipped every day? We'll call it 100 average. And then the carrier, who is it? Is it UPS? Is it ABC shipping company? Shipping. And how does it get to your facility? So does it come up Route 7? Does it come up Route 2? Does it come through the interstate? Let's say to the village. This is important for studies that we do on hazardous materials, which we are in. We've got our little green check mark for the hazard. These little checks up here will skip us to different sections. Jump from section to section. We'll go to the facility. We had answered that. We'll say no on this time, and no equipment here at this location. And then we're going to sign it. And this is your digital signature. And it don't need a sent signature, so you don't need to print out, sign it. Changes there. If you have any notes, you can place them there. Where they are. And then if you need to attach those site plans, or if you need to attach SDS sheets, you can make attachments here. So we'll demo. So you're able to attach those files to this. And you can check. I've attached a site plan. I've attached dike measuring, dike and safeguard measures if you have those at your facility, and other site abbreviations and things of that nature. So that would be completing a new submission. And then if we are to go back to the facilities list, I'm going to show that I still have that hazard. I've got where this facility is, and I would move forward in submitting that once I got mine done. Nice, figured out. So that is the Tier 2 Submit program. It was a somewhat quick overview, but those are the two ways to be able to grab the information and submit it to the state on your Tier 2 program. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Sam or myself on these programs, and we will get them squared away and help you out as much as we possibly can. I'm trying to find my way back to the front. A couple of questions here. So there's a question from John about the prior years auto-populating. If you do have a site, please just reach out to myself or Sam, and we can get that login information for you, as well as the prior years information, so that you can populate that a little quicker. And then you just have to go in and update contact information and any new chemicals and things of that nature. If you have any questions regarding that.
Hey, Pat, there's a question in the chat about shipping a battery by Amy Norris. It's if you have a battery on site, how do you handle shipping?
Right. So that's there's inside that question there. I believe there's additional parameters. And I think you can set it to not shipped, because we do have lots of times where it has, you only ship it once a year, right? Or you get it shipped every 10 years. And so that would be how you'd handle that. You'd put it in either the several, I'm just trying to reopen the program here. Open that real quick. That's not what I want to do. All right. So that is another question that does come up sometimes about how do we handle shipping and the chemicals, because sometimes there are chemicals that will get stored on site for a very long time. So you can go to here and you can type in here always site. And so then you don't have to have this here. Explore values. Sometimes if you can leave it blank, and then down in the notes section, the comments, you can add this in here. It used to be allow you to add it as a comment here, but it looks like now, so you can just add a note. Never shipping. Ship. Something of that nature. It's not going to get you an error as the majority of do your regulatory notification on how Do we have any other questions?
One just popped in, the question and answer, Pat says, can you please give an example of the community water? For example, if I'm in Florence, Vermont, would I report VT 0005226, even if that is outside of our property line? So that, I'm guessing that number is coming off the DEC website. They have an interactive map. So it sounds like this particular facility is, that water system is outside of their property line.
So right, yep. So if you're not being serviced by that water system, you're not regulatorily required to submit. It would have to be servicing your facility. So if there was a spill and it affected the other facility sightline, then there's a notification that's made to that. But as reporting, we just want to know which facilities are you directly connected to. So if it's outside of your property line, it's not required unless there is a spill that goes into that water facility. But as for reporting in the tier 2, it's just the facility that you are part
of. So Pat, your audio unfortunately has been going in and out this entire time. So one individual would like you to go over the emergency equipment contact info again. It's not clear who the person is exactly. For example, is it different than the emergency contact that I list for spills, such as Clean Harbors?
So it is. So it's really just for someone that contacts here. So it's for someone that will be managing your on-site equipment. So if you do not have an on-site equipment manager, then you can just list your 24-hour contact as the equipment manager, and that will clear the error. That does not mean that you have an equipment error manager, because you may be listing it down here under your location. Actually, it's under as no equipment, but there's no ability for the system to clear out that error that says there isn't someone in the emergency equipment contact list, even if you're not storing it. So the resolution for that, the oversight, is that it's just going to be the same person as the 24-hour contact. So all you have to do is click on your contact and just add a 24-hour contact, emergency contact, and just add emergency equipment contact. That doesn't mean that you have equipment, but it just clears out that validation. If you do have equipment, and equipment is not a contract, so if you have a contractor that comes and brings things like Clean Harbors, like Republic, and they will come to your facility to mitigate a hazard, that's not what we're looking for in this. We're looking for companies that have stored equipment on site. So do you have SCBAs? Do you have respiratory cartridge respirators that your facility uses for emergency response? Do you have level PPE that your staff would use for emergency response? And this is emergency response. It's not normal gowns or things that they may use in their normal functions within a facility. This is a cabinet or a facility location that has emergency response equipment, and we'd like to work to categorize that and really work with those entities from the hazmat team's perspective to be able to do training, so that when we respond to the facilities, we know that there's equipment there and that the individuals and entities are aware of what we are going to bring to them, and things of that nature. So that's really what we're trying to narrow down in this requirement is, do you have emergency response equipment, and what equipment is in there? So I hope that kind of answers that question a little bit clearer. And I do apologize for the mic cutting in and out here, and figured a computer mic here at headquarters would be better, but it's not. So, all right. I Don't see any other questions. Sam, do you?
I'm not seeing any more in the Q&A or the chat.
All right. Would you mind just putting back up your last slide there so that people have another moment to grab your contact information? And then we'll try to throw that in the chat as well. So again, primary contact there is the dps.tier2ii submit at vermont.gov. And that will get to both myself and Samantha, and we'll be able to answer your questions there, and hopefully get you password resets, or if you're having trouble with the portal or you're having tier 2 program questions, or you need an updated tier 2 from your previous year, we can get that to you as well. We don't see any other questions. I'll give you an extra 5 minutes back to your day. Again, thank you very much for everyone for attending today. Hopefully there was some value in you learning something here. And we would definitely, if you have any feedback for us, this is our first year kind of putting this on ourselves. Feel free to send us an email at that DPS tier 2 if you'd like to see something better next year, or different avenues we'd like to be able to improve it. So yes, we can email the PowerPoint out. We'll do that to the same email we had before. And we'll probably also have a link to the recording so that if others didn't have it, we can send that out as well. So awesome. Well, I appreciate everyone's attendance, and have a wonderful day, and try to stay warm. It's going to be cold out there in the next couple of days.